Today on Locked On Phoenix Suns, a Christmas miracle. The Suns pull themselves out of a rut, beat the Nuggets on Christmas night in the Valley, and best of all, they do it the way we've all been begging to see them do it. Let's go.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Phoenix Suns. I'm Brendon Kleen, a staff writer at Awful Announcing and a credentialed Suns media member. Thank you for making Locked On Suns your first listen here on this winning Thursday. Don't forget, Locked On Suns free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, so click that follow or subscribe button and do what thousands of other Suns fans have already done. Become an everydayer and get locked on to the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Today's episode, guys, is brought to you by the Gametime app. Download it, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA when you do for $20 off your first purchase at Gametime. 110 to 100 is the final score. Wonderful win. We'll talk about how the Suns won this game. Big picture, we'll talk about my experience at Footprint Center on Christmas night, but let's zoom into our moment of the game as we always do. And in this case, it was Bradley Beal blocking Christian Braun's breakaway dunk, midway through the third quarter. Okay? And I mean, look, the play in and of itself was amazing, and Brad has become pretty regular with these. It's funny because this kind of used to be Book's like signature thing, right? The chase down blocks, but these transition stops that Beal has accumulated in 2 years as a Sun have been pretty awesome, and this was just another one. But of course, it wasn't just any old thing. He didn't even block, like it wasn't even like in the air. He literally caught Christian Braun's body, wrapped the ball up, went vertical so as not to get called for a foul, and sent the ball the other direction where Yusuf Nurkic lobbed it up to Ryan Dunn for a lob dunk. Just an awesome play. Crowd got into it. The type of energy shifting, momentum shifting, defensive highlight plays that this team needs more of and has not had, frankly, any of for a very long while here. If you need me to remind you, heading into tonight, the Suns had fallen to bottom 5 in defense in the NBA. So this was big. The Suns would go on to finish the quarter +4, so they were only up 2 when this play happened. They finished the quarter up 6, and they obviously end up winning by 10. So big no matter how you want to look at it. Momentum, obviously defense to offense with the Dunn alley-oop, and, the broader context of what that meant with how much the Suns have been in need of plays like that. Every way, shape, and form, it was big. But I really want to look at Bradley Beal, okay? The past few games, I mean, tonight you could make the case was the best game of his season, but that's only if you don't think that the last game was his best game of the season. And we've all had a million conversations about Bradley Beal, but in now these games with Booker out, especially the past 2, 26 points on Saturday, past 3, 26 points on Saturday against Detroit, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, only 2 turnovers. Yes, they got crushed against Denver, so I'm not going to sit here and try to make a case for how anybody played great, but he did put up numbers, 23 points on 9 of 17 shooting. Again, only 2 turnovers. And then tonight, he completes this trio with 27, 4, and 2, plus 4 steals in this game on 11 of 21 shooting. Not to mention he's getting threes up like he needs to, 6, 7, and 7 attempts in each of these games. The fit issues, the size issues, the defense, the intensity, everything. It's not gone just because of this. But it's worth sitting back and looking, partially, honestly, even to continue to have those fit conversations and all of that, to look at how even Beal plays when Booker is out, right? Like, we always talk about when Beal's out, because unfortunately that is the most common circumstance. But in this case, it was Booker out. It's been Booker out. And Brad has stepped up. Not to mention, on top of all of that, he was kind of under a little bit of a minutes limit, it seemed, and maybe that's just kind of gradually worked itself back up, but he's at 39 minutes on Saturday, and then again tonight, 38. So he's raising his game. He's also playing more, and obviously has been able to string together some strong performances without a setback health-wise, as everybody listening probably knocks on wood. So those moments aren't rare, what he did to Christian Braun. He's been doing that. He has embraced defense since he got to Phoenix, but they needed it. He delivered it, and he did it on a night where he stepped up on the offensive end as well. So they don't win this game without Bradley Beal, especially because Kevin Durant was obviously the other star healthy and played fine, but wasn't efficient tonight. Brad was. Brad also got some time on Jamal Murray. He got some time on Michael Porter Jr. He's been very solid in these games. Can it continue? Will it continue once Booker does come back? And maybe if, the matchups don't benefit Brad so much, although I wouldn't really say these have. I mean, he has some tough defensive assignments to deal with on Denver, and Detroit, he was, jawing back and forth with Cade Cunningham all night. So salute to Brad Beal. The questions aren't going away. If anything, this magnifies them. But that play encapsulates what he's brought to the table in a stretch where they really needed it. And in this case, a game where they really needed to turn it around even from that stretch, because despite Beal's play, they weren't winning. And in this case, he makes perhaps the most winning play, the most momentum-swinging play of the game to deliver that much-needed W. Next, Kevin Durant said post-game, when a star like Booker is out, and unfortunately the Suns have a lot of experience with stars being out, your identity shifts. Well, we saw what that identity is minus Booker, and frankly what it could be even with Booker tonight. I'll tell you what that is next. First, today's show brought to you by the Gametime app, the best place to buy any ticket. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks and makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Maybe you have some loose ends holiday-wise that you haven't, friends you haven't seen, family you haven't seen, people you haven't met up with, and you're trying to find the right thing. Or maybe, frankly, you are just looking for something to do with your time off. Well, there's events going on all around the valley, and if you just open up the app in Phoenix and your phone knows where you are, Gametime Picks will put the best value deals for all the events going on around us right there up top for you. Concerts, comedy, sports, theater, beyond. Gametime Picks says, here's the best deals. Top to bottom. Check them out. You're not going to regret paying for these tickets, going to these events, and we'll make it easy for you to find them. That's what Gametime Picks does. Gametime has all-in pricing, views from your seat, and more right from the app like they always have. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA when you do to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Back here, don't forget to sign up for the Locked On Suns daily newsletter. If you have not already, that's right on the screen for you, lockedondaily.com. Type your email address in, you get up-to-date info on the Suns, the NBA, fantasy, basketball, and much more, all in your inbox each day for free, and best of all, you support the show. So Kevin Durant was kind of asked about just his, thoughts on the win and everything. And some of those highlight-type plays like we saw when Brad blocked Christian Braun, or, the Suns accumulated quite a few, 12 steals. They forced 16 turnovers, and especially in that third quarter where I talked about Brad's block, they forced 7 Nuggets turnovers, 22 points, for the Nuggets and 8 of 18 shooting from the field. And by the way, Nikola Jokic played that entire quarter. Probably should have said that in the last segment, but here we are. And KD said that moments like that, stretches like that, quarters like that are what this team's identity can be without Devin Booker, okay? He didn't go so specific, but he said when you're missing great players, your identity sometimes has to morph, and tonight we really leaned into that. Which, look, there's not much reading between the lines necessary. He's not saying Booker can't play defense, but he's saying when you are missing some offense, the best way to win a game is to buckle down a little more on defense, okay? And they did that. As I mentioned, heading into this game, the Suns were a bottom 5 defense, especially in the half court. They have struggled, and they were going up against the top 10 offense in the Denver Nuggets. And mind you, on Monday, when they played this exact same team, Jamal Murray did not play. In this case, he did. So this was a fully healthy Nuggets squad on top of being a very dangerous offensive Nuggets squad. They were 6th on offense in the league heading into tonight's game. So holding them to 100 points is no small task, no small order, and is a big achievement, especially after a 34-point first quarter, 22, 22, 22 after that. But you don't just have to take it from Durant saying it or the numbers. Mike Budenholzer showed us that he thought that was the pathway to winning this game with his rotation and with his starting lineup. So Royce O'Neal to the bench, Ryan Dunn into the starting lineup right off the bat. And on top, so Royce still played 30 minutes. He actually ended up playing more than Dunn, but that signals we want Dunn on Murray. And when Ryan Dunn's in the game, basically no matter who he has guarded this season, it is 3/4 court press, and it is hounding that opposing ball handler. He did it again with Jamal Murray. On top of that, you got 18 minutes from Monte Morris, 17 minutes from Josh Okogie. And let me see. Each of those guys got at least a steal? Yes. No, actually, Dunn's the one who didn't. That's funny. But 2 steals for Morris, 1 for Okogie. Everybody on this team was positive in the plus-minus, but I will tell you that Okogie in particular was a big positive for the majority of the game, and then it kind of equaled out by the end because the Nuggets sort of fell apart. But that's Bud telling you defense is going to win us this game. Now, I look forward to going back and kind of watching how the offense was able to stay afloat in spite of putting more defense out there, because Ryan Dunn only took 3 shots. Josh Okogie was 3 of 6, including 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. The Suns did get offensive rebounds. Okogie and Dunn threw in 2 apiece there. Maybe that is a big part of it. But who cares? Right? At the end of the day, a win is a win, as we always like to say in sports, but also allowing 100 points is allowing 100 points. If it was easy to do, if it was, some kind of luck, then more teams would do it. The Nuggets are a dangerous team. They have the best player in the league, and the Suns clamped them tonight. What's interesting here, though, right, is like they didn't shut down Nikola Jokic. And even you could look at that and say, well, as a scorer, they didn't. As an offensive rebounder, maybe they didn't. But they made him a scorer. Like we like to say that with Jokic, right? I just don't buy it because the Nuggets were 8 of 29 from 3. So a lot of the shots that Jokic could have assisted are typically going to be threes because he's in the post and he's, passing it out from there. So I'm sure there were a lot of missed assists that he could have had there. And then Jamal Murray was his normal top partner in crime, has been, subpar all season, but was that again tonight, 4 of 10 from the field. So Murray's off, threes aren't going in. Jokic's assists could have been higher. So it really wasn't that they quieted down Jokic, but I do think that the Suns deserve credit for their coverage of Murray and their, even Russell Westbrook and frankly the 3-point line. And the 3-point line isn't like, people love to say, great contests. Okay, come on. Yes, fair, but it's the rotations. It is, because sometimes a contest, a closeout, that's not even on your own man. You already have rotated over to the next guy by then, and that's part of why the three-point defense can get so ugly is not only are you having to sprint out to put a hand up, but you're also not even in position to contest the right player because you've gotten off along the chain of rotations. And the Suns were much crisper with that tonight as well than they have been with the other teams. Pistons, Pacers, whatever. So, we're going to talk on Friday's show where Eric Ruby of PHNX Sports is going to come on about how the Suns can kind of carry some of this forward. And it's an open conversation, right? But tonight, better point of attack defense, better engagement and intensity when it comes to the rotations, and more, highlight turnover creating plays. In addition to the 12 steals, the Suns had 4 blocks. Durant had a couple of big ones and on down the line. So, and Brown, of course, or Beal's on Brown that I mentioned. So, this is replicable, is where I'm circling here, okay? This is replicable. Booker obviously injects more scoring. He changes the starting lineup where you don't get a defensive stopper specialist like Dunn in there or even a big body like O'Neal. You have to, go back to the smaller starting unit with Booker in there, and maybe the defense is never going to be as good, and that makes sense. You could put a specialist in any team starting lineup. Their defense is probably going to get better. Their offense might get a little worse. But the point is, regardless of any of the context and the fact that it came without Booker or whatever, the defense can do this against a great team. That's sometimes all you really need to take away from this stuff, right? Like, they are capable of this. If I'm the coaching staff, I'm saving this footage. I'm saying, where's this? When they lay an egg in a month against some other team, show them how they pressured Jokic, completely squelched out the Nuggets half-court offense in that third quarter and forced them into 7 turnovers in one quarter. They can do it. So I'm not saying that's the standard because I understand that context, but it is possible. And we can't forget that. We'll close out the show with my first ever news segment, Christmas Footprint Dispatch. Now, it's not only for Christmas. I'll do more footprint dispatches in the future, but tonight we had a lot going on Christmas night. I'll bring you inside the arena next. First, today's show brought to you by Rocket Money. Rocket Money saves you money. They save you money on subscriptions. I recently realized that I was paying for multiple newsletters because I love to support, my friends and colleagues in our weird and wacky industry here in the media. A lot of people are going to newsletters and, personal subscription services and stuff like that, and I always want to support them. I realized I wasn't even receiving 2 of the newsletters I was paying for. They were going to junk or not going to the correct email address or something. So, unfortunately, I had to cancel them, but I was already too late. With Rocket Money, it's a personal finance app that helps find and cancel those unwanted subscriptions for you. It brings everything together in one place where you can budget, keep track of your subscriptions, and set goals all together. And Rocket Money saved their over 5 million users a total of $500 million plus in canceled subscriptions. They have a subscription tracker, so you can use it to cancel services, but they're still there in case you ever want to sign up in the future. Cancel those unwanted subscriptions. Reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Today's episode also brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold, so sign up right now at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Matt Ishbia, Isaiah Thomas, Wanda Durant. Everybody was there. I thought I saw Kyler Murray, but I don't think it was him. Christmas night at Footprint Center. I never get tired of these. 8:30. If you're on YouTube, you can see how freaking pink my eyes are. I woke up at 6:45. I would say I have a little sister. She is my little sister, but she's 18 years old, going on 19 in 2 weeks, and she still wants to wake up at the crack of dawn to open gifts. That's not my fault, but it is why I'm tired. But I did receive this, and I just wanted to shout out my stepdad. Look at this, baby. Hardwood Classic, Steve Nash. Sunburst, black, classic stuff. It's probably going to be going behind me, and Mikhail's going to come down, but shout out there. But I did stay up late enough to go to Footprint Center. It's a dream. I mean, look, if you care about sports, NBA Christmas live in person, I'm sure a lot of you listening were there. It's what the heck we're all here for, right? So, of course I'm going to go. There wasn't a lot of media because Denver, unfortunately, doesn't have a lot. And then, national media was all at the other games because this one's super late. Ramona Shelburne was the only ESPNer at this game. And so I got to sit at the best seats. I got to sit down below in the lower bowl in the Section 102 media area versus the lounge, which is still a great seat, frankly. But that's where I usually am. This was even better. And so it was awesome. It was freaking awesome. But back to the guests of honor here. So Matt Ishbia and his kids, of course, and that makes a lot of sense. If I own an NBA team, I'd probably fly my kids out to go watch the game too, especially if they're on break. But Wanda Durant was there, and I believe Katie's brother Tony, I want to say, I'm not positive with what he looks like, but there was a younger gentleman there as well. They were hanging out, and the mom was completely in the ref's ear all night. So again, I'm in 102, but so I'm behind the player benches. Like I'm behind the benches in the broadcast tables. So fans are on the other side. So she was on the full other side of the court. Plus, like I'm saying, it's a great seat. It is, but I'm 25 rows back. I'm still in the lower bowl, but I'm up. So I'm 100 feet from her. I could audibly hear exactly what she was saying throughout the night. She said, while Katie was posting up at one point, she's barking at the ref, "You're not going to call that foul." There was one, the layup that he kind of tried to do a reverse up and under just to get a shot up and try to draw some contact. She's up, clapping. And then the ref finally catches up to her, gets back to her side of the court, and she goes, come on, like literally 20 times in a row. It was fantastic. I wish that I had somebody. I wish there was a voice in your YouTube app of my family telling you to listen to my show or not leave a rude comment or whatever. We all have a hype person as great as Wanda Durant was. So that was fun to see. Isaiah Thomas, this is rumor mill, okay? Look, I didn't see him, but I heard from other reporters that he was in the building. I'm not trying to increase any sort of fuel to the fire or speculation that he's involved in the front office. I don't know. I don't think so, but whatever. It's just interesting because he's not out there. He must be in some kind of suite or whatever, but some of the media areas overlap with the team areas. So whether people are coming to get a snack or they're just walking around the hallways, we see these people, even if they're not in the media seating. We see them pregame, halftime, postgame, whatever. So apparently Isaiah was here. He's been here before. I definitely have laid eyes on him at a game over the past couple of years since Ishbia bought the team. So shadow general manager, probably not, but prevalent part of the posse of Matt Ishbia, it seems so, because I believe Isaiah still lives in Michigan, and yet he's in Phoenix on Christmas. So clearly, that's not nothing. What else do we have? The Suns gave away money. I believe it was sponsored by Ticketmaster. It was apparently actually ornaments, but it was crystal. It was clear plastic balls with a dollar bill in it. And I was like, are they just trying to be silly? Like they're giving away money, but they're not going to give away so much. So they're giving away ones as a joke. Then I realized it's an ornament. So the ornament is, it has a little ribbon hanger, and then it's a plastic clear ball and there's just a rolled up 1 in it. So it would have been funnier if it was like a fake money giveaway. Maybe that was still kind of the joke, but who's putting that ornament up? And it's not even Ticketmaster related. It wasn't even like a fake Suns ticket or something. It was just a one, but it was a real dollar, I'm pretty sure. So if you broke that open and said screw it to the ornament, you got $1, whatever you're going to use that for in 2024. So that was weird. They have a Grinchilla, I don't know what to call it, a gorilla costume that is green that's like the Grinch running around. There's 2 gorillas right now for the whole Christmas season, but tonight as well. There's the regular one, and then there's the Grinchilla. I don't know if he's done now after Christmas, but he was out. He was just running back and forth. I don't know if it was supposed to be Grinchy. I didn't really get if there was any kind of, reference going on there, but he would just take off down between like the floor seats and the front row of the lower bowl. He just was running. During play, I don't know what the goal was, maybe just to make people laugh. It made me laugh, so mission accomplished. What else? What else did we have? I think that was it. I mean, All I Want for Christmas Is You is blaring over the speakers every chance they got. I guess that's it. The crowd was awesome. That's the last thing I should say. Shout out to you guys. There were boo birds coming out over the weekend when they lost to Detroit. We all saw the meltdown. Ben and I had one of our own on Monday night after that first Nuggets game on the road for anyone who watched on TV. But Suns fans will turn if things get ugly, but they will come back if things are unugly. Tonight, they were a lot closer to normal. It was a lot more fun to watch this team, and Suns fans brought it. That block against Christian Brown, some of the big threes that got hit, people were hyped. And you should be. First of all, it's fun. Second of all hope is not lost. The season's not over. And this team gave us a fun show tonight. First Christmas Day win since 2009. I've been to a lot of these games now. I think this is my third one. They've been on Christmas in 21, 22, 23, and now 24. And yet they didn't win any of them. And so they haven't actually won a Christmas Day game since Steve Nash was still on the team. Speaking of Steve Nash, if you're on YouTube. So, very fun night. It is now morning, so I'm going to go to sleep. Enjoy your Thursday. I hope none of you are working. I'm working, but I hope none of you are working. Ben will be back tomorrow, and we'll talk to you then.